Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I have got a lesson with Shiny, so I have decided to take you guys along with me. So we'll be doing jumping, but taking it easy because it is really hot, which is probably best for both of us. So as you can see in this clip, I am just sorting out her martingale and loosening up her reins as well, because her reins were round her throat lash and someone had done her martingale up. So the martingale was on both reins instead of one. So I had to completely take apart her reins, which took quite a long time, not gonna lie. I was probably a bit late for the lesson. I apologise sincerely for not doing many long format videos on this account. I will try and do them more often. It's just the GoPro hasn't been working, then I forgot it last week, and then some of the lessons haven't been the best, so I haven't posted them. But anyways, so this video I'm posting either way if it's good or bad. So honestly, just sit back, grab some popcorn, relax and enjoy watching it. So in this clip, as you can see, I managed to sort out her martingale, but I was struggling so hard because I was trying to hold her reins without dropping them and then making the other side of the martingale fall. Then I had to try and slide it off of this and it wouldn't move. So I had to put my head right up against her and try and sort it out. Then I let go and I was trying to hold on. I'm let's just hope, see if it works. Here we go, I sorted out her martingale and I was like, does it fit like this? And I was like, he will tell me if it is wrong, and I'm pretty convinced that is how it goes, and I know it is because I've done it many times. So here we go, off to the lesson. So this is where the real pain started. So I managed to line her up, but then she kept going for the hay nets, of which she wasn't really supposed to. So I just kind of said, can you quickly move her away, just hold her reins quickly. And then, she kind of walked off in the wrong direction. So I just decided to circle her again. That's kind of my fault because I did sort of line her up wrong. So I did a big cycle and then I went back to it. So as you can see, I just kind of go up the mountain block, which looks really weird. It's kind of going a bit rusty, but we work with that. And I managed to sort her out. She was still quite far, but it's fine because I can reach over. So I just moved her stirrups down and I also did the other side. And I checked her girth as well, of which was really loose. I'm so glad that I did not get on straight away. And I just kind of tightened it up a bit, and then once I got on I tightened it up again, because it was so much easier when you're on to tighten up the girth because you weigh the saddle down and then all of a sudden it is so light and easy to just kind of give it a little tug and sort it out. Please do ignore my hair in this clip. It was kind of going over the chest camera, which is one annoying thing about a chest camera, but that's fine. I moved my hair in the end because it's getting in the way. So I sorted that up. So on one side it was 3 and then on the other side it was 4, and it was as tight as it would go because she needed it really tight for jumping, but of course not too tight that it kind of hurt the horse. But we did it up enough that I would not fall. I got told that wearing a short sleeve was an absolutely bad idea because of the heat, and sure enough it was. Later on you'll probably be able to see my arms and they are bright red from being burnt. Please do just ignore the fact of how high the GoPro was facing. I did fix it a couple of minutes after this, as I noticed it was kind of facing up to the sky and it wasn't really getting her. So I moved it down after probably, 5 minutes of being in the lesson just to sort it out. So it is a lot better quality than this. Also, ignore the dirt on the GoPro as well. It was so dusty in the arena, I can't even start. So as you can see here, this is where I sorted out the GoPro, of which it didn't do much of a difference until later on again when I did sort it out. Everybody turned into the middle of the arena because they all had to sort out their girths. It felt really awkward walking around alone, and then of course she kind of stopped because she was a bit scared because there were pigeons again. Surprise, surprise, the pigeons were back from last time where they kept spooking her, which she didn't actually spook. Well, she only spooked once today, so that is a big improvement. She was also kind of wary of that stool down this end. I don't know what the stool did to her, but after a couple of pats of reassurance, she was perfectly fine, and she went into the corners when she was asked half of the time. So we picked up a really lovely trot. Please do kind of ignore me bouncing. I was on the wrong diagonal, so I quickly changed it, I think here. So I changed diagonal as it was really bad. And I kept trying to ask her to go forward a little bit more because she was going really slow and she was just completely ignoring my aids. So I did have to kind of grab a little riding crop because she is a bit stubborn sometimes. She is usually a good girl. She's not as stubborn as Sid usually is. However, she can be a bit, you know, here and then. So at the next corner, I asked for canter. I managed to bribe her into a canter with quite a few little clicks, and I was thinking that she was going to go on the other side of the pole because she hadn't gone into our corner particularly well, but you know, she did, and that was good. So we went for a short trot here and a little canter as well. She threw her head up in the transition as a protest and I lost my stirrup, but I managed to get it back anyway, and my instructor kept praising me for that, so you know, I didn't fall. It's completely fine. So here we go, I was second. So we started with just a singular pole on the ground, so it was just working on straightness entirely, which, not gonna lie, throughout this lesson I kept fairly straight in my opinion, and then I got to the corner and she kind of tripped. It was a little bit scary, not gonna lie. Poor girl, I gave her quite a few pats for this. You probably can't see though, because you can't see my hands in this clip because the camera was too far up. I should have sorted it out and I should have had a look, but I couldn't see because the light was reflecting off of it, so that is an absolute bummer, but you know, you can kind of see her head bobbing, so it's fine. So we only trotted over the poles because, you know, the poles are just easy. We went from both reins just to make sure that it is even, and she did amazingly either way. You're probably thinking, why are you voicing it over? Why aren't you just letting us listen to the original clip? Well, the GoPro is not known for picking up audio, so it only kind of picks up the winds, and it is really annoying, so I've decided to voice over instead today. Yay, so you guys can actually hear my thoughts and opinions. For anyone who is curious or just genuinely wondering, I do have breaks in between jumping, pole work, all of that with the horse, but I only show what I need to show because the breaks are quite long, and I don't think you guys would just want to be watching me just kind of sat there and her just staring into absolute nothingness. I did a little circle in front of the jump first just to kind of get her listening to me, and we're mainly just working on straightness this lesson and picking up canter after the pole or after the cone, of which, imagine that there's a cone here, so I kind of picked it up here. It was a really dodgy angle. Because she did amazing over the jump, I kind of folded a bit too much, but not gonna lie, it was okay. My instructor was yelling at me to say go round me, but not gonna lie, I don't know how I was gonna manage to get round you like last minute when you said, but anyways, that's fine because we did manage to do it about 3 times after this. You know, I'm not very good at listening to instructions like that, not going to lie, and it's also my dyslexia. I kind of hear things wrong, and if he's like head this way, I'll be heading the complete opposite direction. You know, it's my lefts and rights, guys. Don't come at me, please. And then after a lot of bribing from this very stubborn mare today, you know, I love her stubbornness, but she was very stubborn, I actually managed to get her round my instructor. Yippee! She did kind of chip in, so I folded a bit too early, but it was fine because I stay on because, you know, I'm just amazing like that. And then we went from the other direction, of which this direction was not the best. She was being a bit stubborn. She wasn't really getting into canter until after the jump, and then I couldn't get her back into shot, which here I managed to. We kind of cut the corner, so we got a little bit of telling off for that, but you know, it's all in the process, guys. So we did this jump twice, which this one was a lot better. She took off from where I wanted, and I actually managed to get her into the corner. Yes, I was so happy with her, honestly, because she was actually kind of starting to listen to me, and we instantly like kind of clicked after this, because like with Sid, you can sometimes feel like he's taken over. The same with Shiny, because, you know, they're both stubborn in their own ways, but it's really cutesy. My very slayful instructor explaining what way that I had to come over this, which I went over either way anyway, guys, so, you know, and then I was kind of pointing, trying to work it out, of which, let's just say it didn't go well, but we actually managed to get a really good jump on this, but unfortunately I didn't actually get it on normal camera, otherwise then I would, like, quite literally, like, upload it. And then, you know, kind of got a bit distracted, so. And And then to end the lesson off on a good note, we decided to set up a very small upright. It was probably about 40 centimetres, so not gonna lie, it was pretty small compared to what I can and usually jump. She did kind of take off a bit early, but that was fine because I stayed on and we kind of cut around that cone as well, but it's all good. So we went twice from that rein, and then we went again on the other rein, which was a lot better than going on the rein that we're currently on, but you know, it is what it is. We didn't record it on my phone, so I can't really post shorts of it other than GoPro. So this is on the other rein, which, you know, was a lot better. She actually picked up canter, and we went at, not gonna lie, quite a good angle. I think he put the jump up probably on my hole, so it was probably about 45 centimetres, I'd say. So, you know, still not big, and she kind of popped over that. She flew over it. She was honestly such a good girl, so she got loads of pats, obviously. I loosened my girth, and of course we gave them a really long walk out and just a cool off, and honestly she was being really stretchy when we were doing that, which I don't know if you guys can really tell because this is where I aim my camera down a bit more, but now you can only really see her ears instead of her actual head anyway. So we gave them a walk around for, I'd say, probably about 5 minutes, and then I decided to hop off. And now guys, come and join me untacking and giving her a wash down. Poor girl moved stables into like the quietest part of the yard. There are no other stables around other than this one, but you know, she's fine with that. I think they moved her here for a reason. So as soon as I brought her in, I kind of just asked her to turn around, and as you guys could probably tell, once I'd taken off her bridle and stuff, she went straight away to go and get some drink, of which I also was. If you guys can't see here, I was just having a quick drink, and I also found her scratchy spot, of which she was absolutely loving. I untightened her girth and I took off her saddle, of which, as you guys could probably see, look at how sweaty this poor girl was. I was trying to remove her bridle and she kept yawning, and honestly it made it so hard, and then I took off her bridle and straight away, of course, like always, she went to go and get a drink, of which I can't blame her. She had a very good drink. I doubt you guys could actually hear, but I was having a full-on conversation with her, and I was saying how sweaty she is and how hot it is outside. And honestly, I was just getting her drenched and making sure that she's all wet, because my instructor told me that I should just completely soak her down with the sponge, of which I was so tempted to use a hose, but you know, I didn't, because we're kind of inside and the hose is all the way on the other side. So I was giving her a very good sponge down, and it also had Dettol in it as well. She's just having a look, watching all of the other horses outside, and my instructor walked past. So that's pretty much it for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next video.